that's fine.
Good evening. Welcome to the March 9th meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. Before we get started, electronic devices, cell phone, if you could silence them, it's greatly appreciated. If you're here to speak on an application, and we encourage you to do so, we just ask that you go to the podium and give your name to the recording secretary. Also, make sure you speak into the microphone that's being recorded by FCTV. Thank you. Okay, first up is minutes, and we've got quite a few of them here, so I'm going to start with November 18th.
Well, I can't say anything about that because I didn't get November 18th.
Okay, I thought maybe it was me.
We didn't get November 18th.
You didn't even get it in the hard packet? I know you got it in
No.
the hard
We
packet.
did not get it in the hard packet.
Really?
Which
I didn't
made
either.
it.
Oh, you know why? No, there's a reason. I put November 18th on the list, but then I went back and retraced and emailed and they had already adopted them. My
Okay.
fault, that's why.
All right.
You already voted those.
Okay, December 2nd.
Sorry about that.
No,
I didn't feel like revising the agenda again.
This was my afternoon reading with a cup of tea.
you're the best.
I move that we adopt as presented to us.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Betsy and a second by Mary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. December 15th.
I move that we accept as given to us.
That was that, one of them's a Wednesday, Thursday, so December 15th, I think, is
Tuesday. Was it
Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Tuesday.
This was
Tuesday at like 5 and then the
Correct.
Wednesday.
That was an exciting week.
Yes, it was.
And they're thick. They were thick too.
Yes.
Second.
One comment, page 7. There's a comment attributed to me, what type of seed? Is it velocity? We don't want the seed to wash away. I wouldn't know one seed from another, so I didn't say. I
What-
suspect that's Maury.
What project was that? Was that Perch Pond, because didn't you
No.
recuse yourself? Okay,
That's 392 Quincy Ave.
okay,
I just think there's somebody got the names mixed up because
okay.
it wouldn't be me.
Okay, so Betsy, you made a motion?
Yeah.
And Mary made a
Mary
second. So to accept the minutes of December 15th as corrected. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. December 16th.
I move that we accept as given to us. Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Betsy and a second by Mary to accept the December 16th minutes. Any comments, questions? Everybody's good? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. January 6th. Betsy?
January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it says on the top. I think that means I make a motion to approve.
Second?
So a motion by Betsy and a second by Mike to approve the January 6th minutes. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. January 13th.
I don't want to take people's fun away. Doesn't anybody else want to make a motion? All right, I make a motion to adopt these as given to us.
Second.
Okay, got a motion by Betsy to accept with a second by Jamie. Comments and questions from boards? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. All
Right.
those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. February 3rd. I haven't got that far yet, so.
Do you
I
want to
have-
stop and do the rest of them at a later date, so some of you can read them, besides Betsy and her cup of tea?
I mean, I personally would like to at least,
All right,
so we can just put these on the next
Okay, so,
agenda?
next agenda, so February,
Yeah, all of February,
February 3rd, 10th,
17th.
17th. 24th.
okay,
That's good.
no,
No, we're all set.
no, okay.
I'm just gonna move on to RDAs then. Okay, request for determination of applicability. This is the lesser of the two applications. What you want to hear on this is a negative determination. Joy Est, 3 Captain Eldridge Way, Hatchville, Mass., for permission to remove vegetation, construct a screened porch, stairs off the deck, extend the basement access, deposit fill, loam and seed, install a stone retaining wall, fence, and the associated clearing, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the staff is recommending a -2 under the bylaw and -3 under the state with resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Not bad.
I got Mike.
second.
And a second by Betsy. Comments or questions? Comments or questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Eric and Emile Fashion, Fashion, 336 West Falmouth Highway, West Falmouth, Mass., for permission to pump, fill, and abandon the existing cesspools, install a new Title V sewage disposal system, native shrubs, and the associated clearing, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant is requesting a continuance until March 30th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Betsy and a second by Courtney to continue. What was the date again, Jen? I'm sorry.
March 3rd.
30th.
30th.
March 30th. Okay, comments, questions from the board? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Davis Neck LLC, 51 Davis Neck Road, East Falmouth, Mass., for permission to pump, fill, and abandon the existing cesspools and install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the staff is recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I got Courtney and I got Mike. Comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Okay, first up is continued request for determination of applicability. Eric Rockwood, 71 Nauset Ave East, North Falmouth, Mass., for permission to vista prune according to the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw regulations and to replace invasive plants with native species. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll save any of my comments until after.
This is determination.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were
Yeah.
on the next one. I think that one's already.
Continued.
Yeah, sorry, I was already on the notice. Down to -2, under the state and the bylaw.
So move.
Second.
Okay, so Courtney and Mary. Any other comments or questions from the board? Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, you, I'm sorry.
No, I don't have a question for you, I have a question for her after we
Yes.
deal with this.
Oh, okay. Opposed?
Sorry.
No. Abstentions? Unanimous? So moved. You had something, Betsy, before I
Yeah, the
move on?
first one we did was Joy asked 3 Captain Eldridge Way.
Mhm.
And I'm just pulling this out to see if we have to sign it. And it says Joy Brand. Is there a reason why they're 2 different names?
Is this a new homeowner, Jen? Is it one of those that,
But how could it, with the same first name, Joy?
Maybe she got married or.
No, this is Brand, I have no idea why I put it like that. For some reason, maybe it was just a typo on Mark's part, I don't know.
Oh, well, I
The
mean, the
property-
project is
the
the same.
proper-
The property, the
Yeah, the
project
property
is the
is
same.
the,
Correct property,
correct property.
right.
okay. You just find out about the name.
Yep.
Okay, request for a hearing on a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. And first up is Nino Frederico, 157 Shorewood Drive, East Falmouth, Mass., for permission to reconstruct the dock within the existing footprint, including lateral access stairs, replacing decking with grading, install 4 additional 4-inch posts, water and electrical services to the dock, a gravel walkway from the house to the dock, and associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, now I'll save any of my comments until after the applicant's presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Ken Breivogel, with the firm of Jack Landers Calling. We're representing the applicant Nino and Grace Federico. They're here tonight. This is a project we're requesting permission to repair an existing dock in the same footprint, same location, and the same dimensions. You see, the project is located at 157 Shorewood Drive, East Falmouth, on the shore of Great Pond. You see the existing dock. This part of the dock is still in existence. The other part of the dock was destroyed in the storms of 2014, 2015. What we're proposing to do is to, we're going to install going to have a lateral access to the stairs, both sides. We're going to have lighting and water brought to the dock. It will be running underneath the dock. The walkway and the planks will be fiberglass that will allow at least 50% of the light to pass through. So I think it's very straightforward, very simple project. Open to any questions?
Okay, Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any questions, to just give the board some clarification. There was an RDA issued in '93 for the dock, for the existence of the dock. The notes were the current access to the docks is over the salt marsh vegetation. The access needs to be corrected with a walkway over the marsh, which would connect the coastal bank to the dock. A notice of intent shall be filed to do this work and proceed with Chapter 91 licensing. We can't find a notice that was, so basically in 93, the board legitimized the dock that was out there and then instructed the then homeowner to create that walkway from the bank to the dock under a notice of intent. It was constructed without that notice, but, so this is just a way of kind of cleaning that up and doing the repairs that were out there. So that's
So-
why we're having them file the notice for the
So
repairs.
there's no existing licensing? Did they ever do that part too?
Oh, yeah, they should do, Ken, do they have a license for it yet?
I don't know of any existing license. Mr. Clowers here, can you speak to it? No, we don't.
No,
don't-
okay, so you'll be seeking Chapter 91
Yes,
licensing
yes,
after
we'll be
this?
seeking
So
Chapter
I gave
91.
guidance to the applicant prior to them purchasing the property that in order to repair the dock, we were gonna need a notice of intent filed to comply with this RDA, and then they can seek the Chapter 91 licensing.
Correct.
So,
Yes, we plan to file a Chapter 91
yeah,
license.
long story short, your staff is okay with this.
Okay, thanks. Mike?
Depth of water under the float?
It's 3 feet plus for almost all of the water. There is a small section that crosses the 3-foot depth line, crosses a very small section of the float. I would argue that this was proper when it was built, and we don't have to comply with the existing regulations at this time.
I appreciate that. You're always torn. Here you have a footprint. If you extended the deck, you'd be outside, you'd have to push it, but then you'd have the depth. So here it's I'm not real happy with it, but that's fine.
Okay.
Kristen?
Could you address the lighting again? You said something about
I'm sorry,
lighting.
I can't hear you.
The lighting,
The
could you
lighting.
address that?
The lighting will be run on the underside of the dock, up towards, it'll come from the house, obviously. There's going to be a gravel walkway from the house. It'll be run underground from the gravel walkway to the dock and on the underside of the dock.
And it's in compliance and the amount of light that's, I mean, there's a specific amount of light.
Well, your regulations specify, I think it's 0.2 foot candles. It'll definitely comply with your regulations. You can put that into an order of conditions.
Okay.
I think that's clear cut that the applicant would have to comply with that.
Thank you.
Courtney?
Are you planning to run water down there or not?
Yes,
Okay, so that'll be seasonal, right?
yes.
What are you going, 6 inches down and then under the deck with the water supply to?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the whole thing.
In other words, you're gonna go like 6 or 8 inches below the grade down to the
Yes.
water, to the
Till it gets to
dock,
like
and then you're running under the dock? Like
Yes.
you are for the electric? Okay.
Yes,
And so, we'll undoubtedly require that be, seasonally blown out and all that, which is common sense, but,
yes.
we'll put that into the order.
All set, Kurt?
Yep.
Betsy? Mary?
No questions.
Jamie?
No question.
All set. Any,
Would you like someone to make a motion?
I would love to someone make a motion.
Make a motion, to close the hearing and take it under advisement. Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Betsy and a second by Mary. To close the hearing, take it under advisement. Any other comments or questions from the board?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Comments or questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. All right, next up is Lawrence Rome, 128 Little Neck Files Road, West Falmouth, Mass, for permission to construct a utility shed for furnace heating equipment, install a generator on a raised slab native mitigation plantings and associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping.
Betsy,
Jen.
can you let us know the quorum, please, because your administrative assistant neglected to give you quorum sheets? Oh, once again, that's me.
I will. It's Jamie, Mary, Betsy, Russ, Mike, Maury, Mike, and Courtney. Kristen, you're out.
Oh, okay.
And Maury's out.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think we continued this so Mark and Tom could meet on site to kind of come to some agreement on that wetland line out there. That was done, and I do think there was one other small revision to the plan where they're proposing to remove the paver patio and do crushed stone, shell, or pea stone. Staff is gonna have the same opinion with that as we do the patio. Other than that, I don't have any other comments.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll start with you, Betsy.
Well, don't you wanna hear from Kevin?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, if we're,
I apologize for
No,
being
it's
rude. Kevin, good evening. Good to see you.
nice to see you, Mr.
Haven't seen you in a
Robbins.
while.
It's been a whole day or so.
I know.
Good evening for the record. My name is Kevin Clower. I'm an attorney with Ahmet Law Firm here in Falmouth, and I represent Larry and Victoria Rome, the prospective buyers of this property. Larry, Victoria, and their son Nathan are here in the audience with us this evening. They've actually come up from Pennsylvania, not just for this hearing, but it's a part of it. To refresh memories, they are under agreement to purchase this property, and it is contingent upon the approval of the furnace and the other proposed work that was set forth. In the process of applying, this issue with the patio came to light. So we've been trying to figure out how best to address it, which will still satisfy what the Romes are looking for, at the same time addressing the needs of the commission and also the resource area. Last hearing, we did have a question about the wetland line, and in Jen's wisdom, she said we should wait because it might be far different than what we thought it was, and Jen was correct.
Shocking.
I wasn't being sarcastic when I said wisdom, Jen. I was not being facetious this time. The line was pretty different from what we expected it to be. So it's a good thing that we held off because it's given us a chance to really show what we're proposing. The patio, we're proposing to reduce by a third and replace with a pervious surface. And I understand staff's position on the patio. Our feeling is that the resource area and the property are far better served by the patio and the 872 square feet of mitigation that would result from it than from the removal of the patio, not having 872 square feet and simply having grass outside of that slider. The plan notes that that mitigation is to occur if the patio is able to remain. It's an issue, and we're trying to figure out a way to do it. So this area of mitigation, the note there does say that the 872 square feet being proposed for that is to remain only if the patio remains. The other 150 square feet or so, 152 square feet of mitigation, which results from the proposed furnace, is shown on, I guess, the southwesterly corner, and that would remain regardless. The Romes, just for your edification, are longtime summer residents of Falmouth. Mr. Rome is a professor of biology at University of Pennsylvania, as well as the Marine Biological Laboratory, and has dedicated his life to wetland studies, and specifically toadfish. So he has a real appreciation for the resource here and wants to take care of it and wants to do what's best for it. The only thing we would ask this evening is that if the patio is not allowed, that the other work could be approved and conditioned upon the removal of the patio. We are under some time constraints and trying to figure out how to address this as best as possible, but also as expeditiously as possible. So that's why that note's really on the plan so that in theory we wouldn't need to come back.
That's fine, Kevin. Staff has no problem with having the board deliberate if the board chooses to allow the patio to remain, or if they choose to have the patio removed, that can be conditioned, but I don't see how we would need another hearing.
Perfect. That's all I would ask,
Yeah, I
that it
can't have
can
them
be
make a
divorced
decision
from the...
tonight, that's just against their policy,
Oh,
but.
I understand.
I don't see any, if they don't have any additional questions or issues that they want addressed, I don't see any any problems with closing the hearing tonight.
I'd be happy to address any questions the commission may
Unless
have.
the board does, I'm getting evil eye from over there.
Betsy,
No,
you're up.
it's
You're up,
not,
Betsy.
it's not an evil eye
Oh.
towards you.
You're up.
Except
Oh,
I-
towards me.
No, not you, Kevin, I see you with coughing. No, I just want to state for the record, because this is going to come up again in another hearing, that this is an A zone. I feel strongly that if it's a permittable structure, then people can mitigate for it. If it's an unpermittable structure, if it never would have been permitted, and this structure would not have been permitted, then it has to be removed.
Well, that's why your staff stance has not changed.
I know, well, I just wanted to say
Okay.
it. And I have no problem at all with,
Generator.
yeah, I have no problem, with being able to rule on what you have, because you give us the options here, and it'll be in the order.
What's that? Mary?
Excuse me, I did not see this plan, apparently it was just received yesterday.
It was received yesterday for
But-
the wetland line. Tom kind of snuck in the mitigation and the
Okay.
shell on me.
So this is the
There.
Well,
I think the only
other
change-
question I would have is,
I mean, the dimensions of this thing.
Yeah.
did the buffers for the revised wetland line? I mean,
Shift landward, yes, they
Yeah,
did.
everything should
all
be.
right.
That was
Right.
the change in yesterday's plan.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
the
just wanted to
Mark
make
and-
sure that happened
Unfortunately,
also.
just due to scheduling and weather and everything, Mark and Tom didn't get out there, I think, till late last week. was
Of
it?
Monday, I think it was
Yeah,
last Monday.
something like that.
So
Yeah, it was fairly recent, so,
Tom, to his credit, turned this around pretty quickly.
yeah, I told Tom he could turn the plan in with the revised line.
That's it.
Jamie?
Just to be clear, if you're allowed to keep the patio, it's reduced in
Mhm.
size for that mitigation.
It's reduced in size, and it's changing from impervious to pervious, and that would, the 852 square feet would be as a result of the...
For the reduced.
Yes,
Thank you.
correct.
I'm good.
Good. Mike?
No questions, you've answered.
Kristen?
She can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Quorum. Courtney?
I'm just looking at this patio, and like the rest of us on the board, I have some concerns about it because of where it is and because it wasn't permitted. The question is, if that were removed, what would take its place?
Crushed stone shell.
Probably grass.
Lawn, grass.
Right, okay.
I'm guessing grass.
Yeah, I mean, it would be flat
have to be
grass. I mean, that's what it would be.
Okay. That's my only question.
And, and to reiterate what I had said, I think our feeling is that the resource areas, the benefit of the mitigation versus what little detriment there may be for the pervious surface, that we think is a substantial outweighing to the benefit, versus, the benefit of having grass and not the mitigation.
Betsy?
Kevin, I also am a marine biologist, and I have also devoted my career to protecting the environment. But I'm also on regulatory boards. And the fact is, it's really important in precedent where people are allowed to do things and where people aren't allowed to do things.
Completely understood.
All right.
All right, anything else? What's your pleasure?
Make a motion, close the hearing, and take it under advisement.
Second.
Motion by Betsy and a second by Mary. Close the hearing, take it under advisement. Any other comments, questions from the board? Okay, hearing none. Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
Thank you very much.
We're closed. All right, Kevin, have a nice
Thank you,
night.
Kevin. Have a nice evening. Oh, I'll take one. I'll take
Okay,
that.
so
Mine's in my bucket downstairs. I haven't.
Nino and Grace Federico, 157 Shorewood Drive, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to raise the existing house and construct a 4-bedroom, single-family house with a deck, front landing, bulkhead, relocate shed, install native
Gonna have to-
plantings, paved driveway, utilities, existing stairs on coastal bank to be rebuilt, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Betsy, what's the form on this,
Everybody.
please? Everybody. Yes, Mr. Chairman, there are a few modifications that needed, plan needed, including setbacks to the coastal bank, number of trees to be removed, and the landscape plan to be modified. All my stuff downstairs. You can hear from the applicant.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Ken Breivogel. I'm with the firm of Jacqueline Scully. We're representing Nito and Grace Federico. This is the same lot that we talked about for the dock. We're here in the beginning of February submitting the plan. We had a separate sheet showing the landscape mitigation. You asked us to come back, put all the information on one sheet. You also asked us to provide additional information, which I believe we've given you everything that you requested on the new revised plan. A quick summary of the project. The existing house is going to be demolished, and the existing deck will also be removed. The new house will be built about 20 feet further back from the wetlands, and the deck will be a new deck that'll be about 60 feet further back than the existing deck. There's a Title V upgrade. We're going to move the shed slightly, and there's a few other minor changes to it. Curtains, I believe they're going to remove the bulkhead. So that's the project in a nutshell. We're proposing to do 2,500 square feet of mitigation all along the coastal bank. There's one thing changed that the Federicos asked me to request tonight. The scarlet oaks, there's 3 scarlet oaks that are proposed. They want to move 2 of them. One, they want to move from here to the northerly property. And the second one, they want to move to approximately here where the garage is. The reason for the change is that they feel that it'll interfere with their view of the water. So I think that's a minor change and a reasonable request to make that change.
You all set, Mr. Bravo?
Yes,
I would prefer the trees to stay closer to the resource area than as far as shoving them up towards the garage, as far away as possible. You know, it is a requirement, the mitigation does need to stay as close to the resource area as possible. I don't have any problem moving one of them to the northern property boundary, but that's the only opinion staff has. Mr. Breivogel, is there another tree that's being removed, or 2 more trees that are being removed near that 24-inch oak that is not shown on the plan?
Not that I'm aware of. There is the 24-inch oak that's being removed, that's shown on the plan.
Betsy, you say there was
There's
another one?
There's 2 pines that
I
are.
believe there were some pines there
There
also.
There are
there are
pines.
2 pine trees that are in the B zone, okay, and then there's 2 additional trees that are outside the jurisdiction
Are
of
the
the
pine
conservation.
trees shown on the plan?
Yes. One is here, one is here.
Okay, I think the commission has some questions on maybe another one of the trees. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Jim. Courtney?
No questions.
Kristen?
I just need to be clear on which trees for the vista are being removed.
These ones right here?
There's 2 trees in the B zone, 16-inch
He's
pine.
pointing.
Oh,
That's
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
scarlet oaks.
part of the vista that's being removed. Which part is that? I'm just not clear where that is.
Right down in that corner.
They want to move this to approximately here. They want to move this tree up towards the garage.
You see them, Kristen?
These two here.
Yeah, so
So
they
that's
want
it.
to, take one of the scarlet oaks and bring it all the way up here, and take one of the scarlet oaks and bring it over there.
And they're both in the,
And they're all in this
in
area,
this
see?
zone. Yeah.
Scarlet oaks.
Do they already have a 25-foot vista somewhere, or is this, I mean,
Yeah.
to remove the trees and the...
Pretty open.
Yeah, okay, it doesn't seem like that would be necessary then if it's pretty open, to take them out of a area like that. That's all I have.
Okay, all set, Kristen?
Yep.
Mike?
Refresh my memory, you're proposing to remove 56 caliber inches of tree.
Yes, I believe that's the correct.
And we're replacing it with?
We've got a listing of the plantings, so we have 6 4-inch trees, the
6, all right, there you go.
dogwood. No, I'm sorry, it's the scarlet oak that's replacing the 24-inch tree.
Okay.
1 tree?
6.
We also have 3 flowering dogwoods.
I've raised the question, I'll refer to someone else who knows something about trees. I'm done.
Okay, Betsy?
I asked the last time here whether the house could be shifted so that 24-inch oak would remain. That 24-inch oak that you're taking down is in, this is the same thing as with the project
Patio.
that Kevin and the people behind him were talking about. This is in the A zone. And it's a-
Correct.
It's a major, no native vegetation in the A zone is supposed to be removed. And you have enough of a building envelope to shift that house. And I had asked for that the last time.
Our response to the last hearing, and still the response is the shift is pretty dramatic. In order to save that tree, we're talking about moving the house about 25, 30 feet, which, we feel that the house we're proposing is a significant improvement over the existing conditions.
The house doesn't exist. You're gonna.
The house exists there. There's a house there, and
I know, but you're gonna raise it to the ground and build a new
my
house.
point is the proposed house is a significant improvement over the existing home. It's set further back.
Yeah, but my point is that this is a major native vegetation in the A zone. The A buffer, in theory, is a no-touch buffer. The A buffer should be completely vegetated. And we should avoid taking any vegetation out of the A buffer when anything is done.
I agree with you when the A buffer is virgin, so to speak, but in this case, it's very cleared, and we're creating substantial improvement over the existing A buffer.
Because you're expanding the house. That's why you have to put more mitigation planning in.
We're removing we're removing an unapproved deck, for one, that we're not, but we didn't do it, Betsy. We're improving the site dramatically.
You're taking an unpermitted deck out and putting a proposed deck on.
But we're
so-
not taking any credit for the unapproved deck. the proposed deck comes no closer than the existing home.
Well,
We
I'm
didn't
just
take credit for that
making
in
it
our
clear,
mitigation either. So-
Kevin, I
Kevin, you
just
don't
want
get a
to
gold
make
star
it
for that.
clear, Kevin, I just want to make it clear that I will vote against this project, because there's a large building envelope on this property to build the house that you have designed here. It would just have to shift a little bit.
I respectfully disagree that it's a little shift. It's a fairly dramatic reimagining of the home.
Kevin, can I ask a question? What is the side setback in zoning? I don't know.
10 feet.
10 feet, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor,
No questions.
Jamie.
I don't know if I want to touch that tree. Just to ask, how far would you think you'd have to shift it to save that?
I mean, you'd probably want the tree at least 10 feet outside the home, realistically. So I think we're looking at probably a 20, 25-foot shift.
25?
You've got 40 from that proposed deck to 10 scale, right, Kevin? You got 40 feet from that proposed deck to that side,
10-foot scale.
yeah,
So you'd meet
or
the setback,
39
so it's a
feet,
matter of
something like that.
Would you want to do that? I'm good.
Big tree.
I'll be back in.
Sure.
Well, you're going from, I hate to jump back in, but you're going from 2 bedrooms to 4. Any consideration for alternate trading for the septic? You're adding nitrate loading to a pond that is stressed. And we're spending a lot of money in town trying to reduce that loading, and here we're saying it's okay to add. And it seems a little tough.
Well, I believe they're entitled to go to the 4-bedroom house.
I'm trying to protect a resource, and the issue is you're adding nitrogen loading. And I'm asking the question, was consideration given to on an alternate trading system?
I don't think much discussion's been had about it.
Okay.
I gotta agree, Kevin. I mean, to me, I mean, the existing footprint, you know, if you could gain on that, I mean, how far are we talking there?
All right, Kristen, I'm gonna jump over.
What's it?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, this is the existing here, right? The dashed line?
The dash line's the
Okay.
existing.
So here's your new house. What is the reason, why couldn't you shift it over to here? Start here, your foundation, move that way? See what I'm saying?
I understand your question. I think it's a matter of they want to completely eliminate the non-conforming deck and move it back, still allowing themselves to have a deck and maintain a view. I mean, this is the house they.
Is it the view, Kevin?
I don't think it's solely the view, Jen. I
Okay.
think it's a factor, and I think it's one of many factors. Look, we're trying not to interfere with the existing garage.
I mean, what's the distance we got here? What's the scale on this, Mike?
10.
1 inch and 10? So what do we got here? I mean, I can understand that,
Yeah.
17 feet.
17 feet.
So the house has to come up far enough that the new deck isn't beyond the rear of the existing home.
Yeah.
So without
Big deck.
bumping into the existing garage, that seemed as though it was the best location for the home.
How about reducing the size of the deck?
We don't have many engineers here, but really, the first thing an engineer should do is set out a building envelope for a client. This is where you can build without running into any objections, any regulatory objections.
All right, yeah. No, anyone got anything else?
Ask him to continue it, to look at other alternatives.
That's
Yeah,
what you'd
well,
like to
that's
do.
what they
If you
were
wanna make
asked
a
to-
motion in that, I mean,
Well,
want
we
to
have to
close
have
the
a
hearing?
request.
Not particularly.
Well, then, would you like to ask for a continuance?
I think we have to at least explore what options, if any, exist. What's the quickest hearing date we can get, Jen?
I can let you know, but next time when they ask you to look at options for moving the house,
Well, we did, and it was determined that this is what the clients wanted. This is what they're seeking. And I think they're entitled to it, as long as the mitigation exists, which it does.
you're looking at, the 30th?
Can I speak with my clients quickly, Jen?
Sure. Well, you don't have to ask me, you have to ask Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Robbins?
sure, absolutely. Yeah. Well, speak briefly, I mean, we can.
Table it?
Yeah, Kevin, I think we'll table,
Give you all the time you need.
and you can have all the time you want, because we have some orders to do, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I move that we table.
Second.
Okay, we'll order, yeah, motion to table with a second by Mike, Betsy, Mike. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no, abstentions, unanimous, moved. What order of conditions, 141 Shorewood Drive. Right here.
We need a quorum. Betsy, thank you.
Yep, she's working on it,
I'm working on it. Where is it?
we're working on it.
Oh, did I leave it downstairs? I might have. I
All
think
right,
I
how
did.
about 45 Madeline Road?
It's the same form, so we closed these last week,
Yep,
so who was here last week?
That's right.
If you wanna give me 2 seconds, I can run downstairs. and
Everybody
grab
was
it.
We were all
Everybody's
here
here
last
except for
week.
Maury.
except,
But
well, Maury's on vacation
The
this week,
41,
so we have 4.
41 Shorewood Drive, we had 2 hearings on, so I have to go get the
141.
file.
141 is the variance and the dock over.
The very long dock. I think you were all here for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very.
All right, so let's do that one. 141 is that.
Okay,
You need the variance for the dock. They were doing the Phragmites mitigation. They were doing some planting
Shellfish.
for some illegal alteration of the buffer,
Shellfish mitigation.
shellfish mitigation, but I think the dock was that was the
Yeah.
main part of that application. And then all the other stuff.
unique situation, salt marsh over salt.
So first you have
Yeah,
to
mitigation
talk
for
about the
salt.
variance. And whether or not you think it meets one, the criteria for issuing a variance, and, well, first you have to determine whether or not a
Hardship.
hardship exists.
Yes, Betsy?
Okay, I'm gonna comment on this because 2 things were entered into the record, which were 2 other docks that also had variances. And I wrote those variances back, it was before Jen was with us. And at one time, Jen agreed with me that hardship is the hardest thing to meet in a variance. And this is one area that is unique in town. And so, and then all the other things they met. It's not a nuisance created by them, they're providing mitigation. So, I'm gonna make a motion to accept the variance. And then, the next question is, well, if we vote that way, the next question is, even though you have the variance, you may or may not accept the dock. You don't, just because you vote a variance doesn't mean that you have to accept everything that's been submitted to you. So I'll make a motion that we accept the variance.
Second.
So we have a motion by Betsy and a second by Mary to accept the variance. Any other comments? Courtney?
What, Betsy, in writing a variance, and what is your argument on the hardship thing? In other words, what's the,
With the definition of hardship, it has to do with criteria of the property,
right?
and this.
No, I
particular-
understand all that. So the argument would be,
That this does meet hardship. And
Okay.
once you get over that hurdle, then there are 5 other things.
Things
that
which
you-
are met,
Well,
yeah.
one is that you have to be asking for something that isn't allowed in the regulations. But the hardship is the hardest thing for people to get past, because most property we see
Are very typical.
are
I
very
mean,
typical of
Basically,
that
your
region.
hardship is unique characteristics of the property. And what Betsy is saying is because this salt marsh, basically the length, the regulation it's tripping is 100 feet from the landward edge of the
Right,
salt
right.
marsh and/or mean high water. You have a salt marsh, which they can span, and then you have a very small channel, and then you have another island of salt marsh,
Right.
which is, what Betsy's saying is fairly unique in Falmouth. You have had applications come before you for a variance from the length requirement, saying that the salt marsh is too large and they need a variance, and this board has denied that because
Right.
the salt marsh is adjacent to the property, and there's salt marshes all over Falmouth. That salt marsh is not unique. What makes this unique is that little channel that stretches in between. It's almost like, you see what I'm
Okay.
saying? It's like this little island of salt marsh that
Yep.
just appears in front of these 3 properties.
That's
There's my
fair.
pen.
That's all I wanted to
That's Betsy's.
bring this, put this back on the table for purposes, not beyond just our deliberations, but to the folks out there watching in TV land.
Thank you, Courtney.
Okay, anything else? We got the motion and a second on the table for the variance, right? To approve the
just for the
variance.
variance.
So, just for the variance, so I hear another comment, so I'm gonna call for a vote. All those in favor of accepting the variance, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Okay, so now let's go back to the original.
Were you a
question.
no or a yes,
I'm a no.
Kristen?
You were no?
Kristen was a no.
Sorry about that. It wasn't unanimous.
I get you back, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I know, you're awesome. Okay, so let's go back to the original.
So now you have the dock.
Now we have
Okay,
the
and
doc.
here's the difference, and it was interesting because Attorney Wall cleverly didn't point this out in his presentation, in his wonderful presentation that he always gives, and that the other 2 places there were variances, there had been docks that spanned, 140
Some odd feet.
feet or something out there.
And this one did.
Whereas this one had a dock, and the fact is, the argument may have been correct. It may have been that little channel was deeper at one time, and it's filled in. But this one just had a little tiny dock. This one had like a 10-foot dock.
Correct. Those are differences from the two prior applications you had back in, 04, 05, early 05
Right.
to now.
So I'm just gonna throw that out, and I'll let my fellow commissioners say what they have to say, and then
Anyone else?
I'm comfortable as proposed.
Okay. Kristen?
you could make a motion if you want.
Oh, I'll make a motion to accept the project as proposed.
And I'll second it, and then we still have deliberation, and then we have a vote, and it'll either be accepted or denied.
Well, can staff just jump up in here that we are gonna put conditions if the board proposes to move forward with the application to approve it? We're gonna put some very specific conditions on the Phragmites removal.
Oh,
Okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Any-
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
we just got a
Just-
motion, so we'll discuss it
Okay.
again.
Yeah, so I'm just letting you know
So-
that we're gonna put some, for the Phragmites removal. So that's what we will focus on,
yeah.
when we're writing the conditions, the dock, the seed, and all that.
Okay, so we have a
Okay.
motion by Mike and a second by Betsy. Any other discussion? Nothing? Okay, I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Kristen, are you opposing it? You're shaking your head? You're not opposing it?
Yeah, it's just
You good?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so the motion carried.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a nice history lesson, though. It's something we don't run into a lot,
No.
you know, and to
No.
have it
And
come up,
hopefully
it's
you'll
good to
never
hear-
run into
to
it
have that
again.
institutional knowledge.
Hopefully, we'll never run into it.
So
Yeah.
much for you, Nate.
Hopefully, we won't see any vegetation
I
taken
I
in the
really
A
don't
zone.
think there's another
Hopefully, we'll never
area
see-
like this in town.
Yeah.
I really
Why?
don't.
I certainly don't know.
I don't think there is.
It's- okay. All right, so we'll move on to the next. Everybody's good with that, right?
Yes.
45 Madeline Road. That was,
This is that other little dock.
Oh, this is the one that wasn't staked.
This is
In
the
the
one
snow?
that wasn't staked,
Right.
correct.
This was pretty straightforward.
yeah, that, it was in tough shape, I know.
Yeah.
I tried walking on it.
And I think they did have a order of conditions, again, back in, because Betsy asked, not Betsy, Maury asked the question of whether the dock was actually ever permitted or licensed. And I think it, Hank, give me 1 second. There was something in something. That made a lot of sense, huh? Hold on.
It did, if we weren't really thinking, we'd say, oh. it's a
No, I
profound
want to
statement.
say that there was an
I
order
think
of
this is an improvement, to be
conditions
honest with you.
that didn't necessarily approve the dock, but acknowledged its existence.
I make a motion that we approve this project as it was presented to us.
Second.
Yeah, sometime in the 80s, there was an order of conditions that actually acknowledged the dock's existence and told the applicant to get it licensed.
Somehow it's gotta, we gotta work on getting these things flagged so that when something else comes up, at least we can double check, you know? Because if it goes 10 years down the line and it doesn't happen, then this will happen again. So, all right, we got a motion by Betsy and a second by Mary to approve as discussed. All those in favor say aye.
1990.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
Yeah, so in the 90s,
Yeah.
they acknowledged it, told the applicant to get it licensed. But then they issued a certificate of compliance on it, so I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you, Mr. Chairman.
I
I can only read the papers.
Absolutely. If it would flag somehow, maybe
Well,
someday when
This is what I'm saying, that they had it as a condition that it be licensed, but then they issued a certificate of compliance on the property
without the license.
without it, yeah, so,
I untabled the 157.
Is he back
Second.
yet, or they
Well, he's
still-
not, but
I will go get him.
Who seconded it?
Second.
Courtney, Betsy and Courtney. All right, all those in favor say aye. On the
Aye.
table. All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Yeah, there's gotta be, I think they can do it with the software, not in this software.
yeah.
So it would pop up,
Yeah.
so that when they come in to do their review for another project they wanna do,
Oh, come on.
it'll come up and you can say, hey,
That's what came up with me, and it said you hadn't been there to inspect my,
I know.
and I said I didn't have all these things. I said,
It's never permitted.
our toadfish marine,
Move this whole thing.
our toadfish marine,
This is the existing.
all right.
Can't move any closer than that. There's your distance.
And they're called toadfish because
From
there's,
us here, it's
their
69
fins go out like this?
to here.
So
this is
they
63.
make a mating call,
So that's the
so they
issue.
could call it
Tilt
Really?
right,
Yeah.
over here a little bit.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can move
I
the thing back.
guess it sounds like a toad.
Probably
Yeah.
have some constraints here.
They're called oyster toadfish, so their heads are like this wide.
See, these are
and
existing.
assume that they can eat
Previous, there was not.
Oh.
in their teeth.
Wow.
I have all my fingers, so I've been
Well, I-
very, very careful.
Yeah.
Take it out, it's not.
Already.
You know,
But they
it turns out that
inherited
they're
the property
extremely
up to the deck
sluggish,
properly.
Right,
but they have
but
the fastest vertebrate muscle.
In our regulations, we don't
The muscles
necessarily
around
include
the
decks as part of the
bladder
structure.
and vibrates it at 200 times a second. That's what makes.
Oh, that makes the noise?
Yeah,
Oh, that's neat.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I know that they're used as an
Because
experimental
then what
Right,
happens
right.
is
organism down
they
there.
come in and
Yeah.
say,
I'll have to come look at them sometime.
Apparently, their
creeps closer.
their equilibrium is fairly close to
Sure.
humans, so they were using
Yeah, they're a
space tests.
vestibular system, and they've gone up in the shuttle launch.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were-
That wasn't my work, but, yeah.
that's neat.
Yeah. Welcome back, Kevin.
Welcome back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your understanding there. I've been speaking with my clients, and we feel that at the last hearing, we really did take the comments of the board into consideration, and we did what was asked. And that includes the replacement of that 24-inch tree with the 24 caliper inches of the scarlet oak. Looking at the bylaws, I have to respectfully disagree with what Betsy had said, because I think that it is permitted. We are moving further away from the resource area. We're not moving closer to the resource area.
The structure.
The structure, and we're doing the required mitigation. So, as I said before, I think that this is a substantial improvement over how the property currently exists. We think it meets the requirements of the wetlands regulations, and would ask that you approve it as set forth.
Kevin, I think they want to know if you're going to ask for a continuance.
I am not. I'd ask if, I'd ask that they close it and take
Ask
into
if-
advisement.
Okay, so,
Okay.
Wait a second.
I don't understand why this doesn't qualify as redevelopment in Zone
you guys can argue, deliberate that in your
Right.
deliberations, so you can close, basically, the decision is to close it, or
Right.
I make a motion, close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second?
Okay, so we got a motion by Betsy and a second by Mike. Any other comments or questions from the board? Comments, questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Kevin, have a good night.
Any redevelopment in Zone A must occur in an area that lacks a natural.
motion to adjourn, people.
24-inch oak is natural vegetation.
Well, it is natural vegetation.
Mr. Chairman.
I don't know if I would call it a naturally
Mr.
vegetated.
Chairman, Mr.
A
Chairman,
buffer, it serves, it has a huge root system.
Okay. Well, do you want to make a motion to,
somebody make a
Adjourn?
motion.
yes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, we have a motion
Second.
by
Second.
Mike and a second by Jamie to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.